Sure, go right ahead.
We are delighted. All right, good. We are delighted to welcome Major General Tony Cucolo, Commanding General of the 3rd ID, Commanding General of Task Force Marne from the northern part of Iraq. Rock of the Marne, General, how are you?
Rock of the Marne, Sonny. We're doing fantastic out here. It's great to hear your voice.
Well, I think probably the primary thing folks are going to want to know is, what is the mission? How is the mission going? How are our men and women of the 3rd ID doing?
You bet. Thanks. Well, I'll tell you what. The mission, if I could break it down for you in simple, non-military terms, is we're here to help the Iraqi people solve Iraq's problems within the Iraqi system. And what that means is those of us with guns are helping the Iraqi security forces with their ability to crush the violent extremist networks that still unfortunately plague certain parts of Iraq and seek to attack parts of the population to drive them into sectarian or ethnic clusters and not express their freedom of choice along the lines they might wish to. So our mission, those of us in the U.S. military, are to help the Iraqi security forces defeat or neutralize the violent extremist networks. It's going very well over here. All the soldiers are doing fantastic. We had a great relief in place, it's called, with the 25th Infantry Division out of Hawaii. They are back in Hawaii with their families. But they taught us a lot about the area. It's an ethnically diverse, incredible weave of human fabric where we are in northern Iraq. Different tribes, different ethnicity, different, just all kinds of differences living together in the same area. Now, what we're seeing is since our last tour here, we're seeing a much improved Iraqi security force. I'll give you one quick vignette. I'm visiting a 2-star general in the Iraqi army, and he sat me down, and in English he says to me, "Let me describe the nature of conflict in my province." And then he described with great professionalism all the different things he was dealing with from a security aspect, and I was just very impressed. The Iraqi army is capable. The Iraqi police is getting more capable, but not there yet, and so we're working very hard together with our partners.
But still, the extremists are no doubt a pain in your side, and that of all the 3rd ID, the 25th ID that preceded you, and the 4th ID that will follow. What do you do about them? I mean, how do you just keep knocking them off one by one until you, because there's no way they're going to be reasonable.
No, you're absolutely right. Now, what I'm talking about are the irreconcilables, the ones that must be captured or killed. Many of them come from out of country, but unfortunately a number of them are from inside Iraq. Your question was how? Well, the key thing is to take away their support zones. Is there a way that they bring arms, people, and materiel across the Iraqi border, tighten up the borders? When they do cross the border, how do we catch them and route to their targets, which are the major population centers? If they make it to the major population centers, how do we make the populations of those cities unsupporting of these extremists? And so we're working all those different angles. And I'll tell you what, it's still a dangerous place. We have indirect fire. We have rockets and mortars falling on a couple of our bases when we do strike at some of these networks and cells. I've had convoys receive direct fire of rocket and small arms. It's still a bit of a fight out here. And the big difference from the last rotation is when we are fighting with our Iraqi partners. There are no unilateral U.S.-only operations, and I'm very impressed with that. I mean, we have Iraqi commandos flying on our helicopters to go into an objective area. They've gotten very good.
Well, that's very positive to hear. I think in whatever time we have remaining, I want to shift the focus more to the personal level. We've got all these families of Third ID soldiers here, including in this building, in this room, and this is a tough time of year for families to be separated like this. But I just want to tell you, there's not a single day that goes by that I don't hear from somebody. Give our best to the men and women of the Third ID, the 48th Brigade, and others. But obviously, since the numbers are strongest for Third ID, that's what we hear the most.
I'll tell you what, Sonny. We number one, we deployed from the best place in the world to serve. That's coastal Georgia, and I want to wish all of my great veteran friends out there from South Carolina to Allenhurst and beyond to Jessup. Gosh, wish you all my veterans a happy holidays. We miss you very much, and we know we've got your support and the support of all of coastal Georgia. We feel it over here. There's no question about it. And it goes without saying, my goodness, we miss you all very much. It is a tough time of year. We're with our Marne families right now, our brothers and sisters in the Marne Division, and we're doing what we were hired to do, what we're proud to do, and we really see a purpose in what we're doing. I'll tell you what, Sonny, if you could see this fledgling democracy start to flex a muscle here or there, you know the trouble the United States had with states' rights for a while. Well, I mean, we're seeing that here. The provinces are now flexing their muscles to the central government. We're having real Marbury-Madison kind of moments here, and they're not resorting to guns. They're resorting to their courts. And so seeing that makes the sacrifice of being away from home during a holiday season palatable. We can do this because we're giving people in an important place in this world, important geographic location, we're giving people a taste of the freedom that we enjoy and do not take for granted.
Well, outstanding. General Cucolo, is there anything else you want to add? I'm going to ask, after we formalize this conversation, I may have another word. I may drag another fellow here to say a word or two. But anything else you want to add before we wrap up the portion for television?
I just want to tell everybody out there that whether, number one, the Marne families, the families of soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines serving in Iraq and Afghanistan, thank you so much for your sacrifice, for giving us your soldier, your sailor, your airman, your Marine, your Coast Guardsman. Thank you so much for what you do in supporting them. That's number one. And to the general American public out there, let me tell you what. You have a national treasure in this all-volunteer force. What I see my soldiers doing day in and day out here in Iraq just makes me speechless, puts me in awe, and just fills me full of pride. You need to be proud of your young Americans. This is a wonderful generation, and you can be very proud of them.
Rock of the Marne, Major General Tony Cucolo, thank you so very much. Merry Christmas. Godspeed. Come home.
Happy holidays, everybody.